I don't know. Jim, were you just about to disappear again? I was just double checking.
No, I just moved
you
my
moved
chair
off frame
to
for a
a
second.
comfortable
Well, ladies and
position.
gentlemen, it's great to see everybody. The antics behind the scenes continue. Phone calls are the last second, texts were the last second, but we're here. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Jim, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And thank you for subbing for Scott. And then Carl,
okay.
great to see you as well.
Thank you. It's good to see you
and
all
thank
too.
you for subbing. Thank you for subbing for Jim. So 2 minutes before the show, the producer's coming in 2 minutes. Thank God Carl was here. Carl's in New York, back in New York. Anyway, we're all here. How is everybody?
Well, I'm okay. Same as, it's yeah.
I like the haircut.
I have my haircut. Yeah, I'm going on my travels next week to Liverpool and Edinburgh and all sorts of places. So yeah.
Oh, that's right. You said you'll still be here though, right? That's right.
I'll still be here, yeah.
You mentioned, yeah. So let's have a couple of comments. Joey, of course. Hey, it's classical night, baby.
Hey,
hope everyone is well and great to see you. Let's talk classical. Absolutely. And Jack, I sent you a link. You can come up anytime. Evening, everybody. And then
evening.
And then Jack says, Jime got a haircut.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Jime is. No, Jim got a haircut. And Daryl. Hey, Daryl, how are you? Good evening, gents. Daryl, I think I've been seeing you on my Instagram, I think. So that's nice as well. It's nice that people are cross-pollinating. Anyway, let me just go through some of the things that we need to, just a little bit of house cleaning. Like I mentioned, Scott is with his family in Maine for about 3 weeks, and he thought he might have enough time to get on here, but he may come on later. But he's looking after his mom right now, so she's well, which is good, and Scott's well in eating lobster rolls, but he should be back next week, he said. So for folks who are here, please comment lots and ask lots of questions. No question is wrong. Just, what's your favorite recording of the Four Seasons, which we've done already. So, but by all means, it doesn't have to be complex classical music. It could be, entry level quote classical music, whatever you like. And if you could please like and subscribe, that really helps the channel. That's important. And of course, don't be shy. Just like our friend Jack. Don't be shy. Just jump on and show some records. And I'll ask the questions in person, or just come hang out, which is also fun. There are no quant questions or silly questions. Anything classical goes. So let me just go a couple more. This Nick came to my video this morning live. My beeper went off and it woke me up at 7 a.m. and my video went live. And Nick was there and Scott. It was very nice. It was a best of the best series of the Audiophilia Dream List, and it was a rock one. It was the Dark Side of the Moon, which I absolutely love.
Oh.
Love, yeah. And I did that, and Nick was there. It was great.
I read an article last week about the correlation between that recording, which I don't know that much about it, but I do know of it. But the correlation between that recording and Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, I guess there was some influence there.
Well, I talk mainly about, excuse me, I talk mainly about the harmonic progressions, which is what I'm a harmony guy. I just love great harmony. And it's so creative. The sound effects are brilliant. But I did have a couple of heavy duty classical people and they were visiting. And I was so proud of this record. And it's a British pressing. It's a 5A, 5B pressing. It's expensive. I tell a little story on the video. And I said, guys, they said, Anthony, you're really listening to quite a lot of pop music. We're a little concerned about you. I said, don't be. It's great, right? And Ian, my nephew, during the pandemic, bought me all these records. He's a real hustler, record dealer as well. Like, Uncle, do you want to buy these? So a lot of them I did. Aqualung other ones. This was Jethro Tull. Loved the Who as well. Tommy, and other ones. So he found this one in Ontario for me. It was $140, but it's a beautiful pressing. So I played it for my friends, and I did the Breathe with the helicopter, and then the Breathe, and the beautiful chord progressions, which I'm in love with those chord progressions. It's nothing actually fantastically brilliant. Sorry, complex, but it's just so beautiful. And David Gilmour plays it beautifully, and his voice. And anyway, so it was interesting. They went, I went, really? They went, it's creative, but it's, and I'm not sure. I'd love to know what Jim would think of it, but I don't know. There's part of it that kind of just twicks in me, and I just love it. Alan said, "Hello, team. Anthony, that was a good video on Dark Side of the Moon." Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you for saying that. And Octopus Tree Audio, that's Max Geiger, the brilliant Max Geiger from Audiophilia Online Magazine.com, as they say. And Max may be coming on later. He's an amazing guy, very fine writer. Now, Nick had a question, not a question. I just saw a vid saying that deoxit dissolves carbon traces in pots. Ridiculous. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, it's great to see you all, Jack. Thank you again for coming and at short notice. We really love having you. I've sent a link to Angie as well. And so first, if you don't mind, I'll put myself up. I'll put this on. So these are the new releases. Vinyl CD and SACD, and some new gear announcements, and also some player moves. I want to run a couple by Jim. I think you'll like this, and I think one will be very interesting to Jack as well. So this is one of the two new vinyl pressings coming out from Esoteric. It'll be 100 US. I think the other two are out, so they'll probably be out in about a month or two. And if Angie comes on, I'll give Angie. Angie, you may have one. No, too much usual begging to Angie. But that's going to be very special because that's a very famous performance, great orchestra, great recording. I don't know the original. I would think it was to be an original Phillips, like the LSO Brahms 2 with Monteur, but I'm sure that'll be knockout. Every record so far from Esoteric has been wonderful with the Esoteric mastering, specifically for vinyl. But we know there's a DAC in there, but it's a damn good DAC. It's an Esoteric handmade DAC. Okay, and now this is the one that I would like. Oh, look at the cover first of all. Isn't that cover absolutely?
Yeah.
Angel Recordings. We know it's going to be Victoria de Los Angeles and Fisher Descal. The singing will be great. If you don't know the Fauré Requiem, it's a magnificent piece of music. It's actually quite easy to sing. It's easy to conduct. I've had students of mine conduct it with amateur choirs. The piano part, the organ part is not that difficult, but it's an incredibly beautiful piece. And it's usually joined on CD with the what's the other one? Begins with D, Jim. Famous
Duraflame.
Duraflame, yeah, the Duraflame record, which I think is even more beautiful. And if you ever get a recording of that and the Duraflame, get the Telarc Atlanta Symphony with Robert Shaw. And the violin soloist on it is the violin soloist who is no longer with the Cleveland Orchestra, unfortunately. I forget his name. But an incredible violinist, and he does some things on that recording. But I would like to get that because Andre Clayton, Paris Conservatoire Orchestra. It'll be wonderful. But De Los Angeles and Descal, it'll be beautiful. So they're the two coming up on vinyl. And let's see what else we got. This is coming out. The box set of Carlos Gleiber, complete recordings on Deutsche Grammophon, which means it's about half a CD of just joking. Gleiber only, for those of you who don't know Gleiber only conducted when he said there were no steaks in the freezer. And there was, half the time, I think, Jim, you and I were scheduled to see him. Of course, he canceled. And I think they sent Carl Böhm in his place, which was great. But still, anyway, that's coming. So that'll be fun. I think that'll be worth getting. I mean, anything with Carlos Kleiber. And because we talked about Maggie Price last week, I wanted to show, this has just come out
Oh,
reissue.
yeah.
It's a fantastic Tristan with Carlos Kleiber, Saskatoon, Dresden. But Maggie's amazing. She was the one I was telling you about last week. They were still talking in the halls of Trinity 10 years after she graduated. When Jim and I were there, she's that great. So that's coming out. And I wanted to remind you guys to stream Eleanor Alberga's music. That's Tom Bose's wife. Jim's my great friend from Trinity, the violin soloist. He's playing the violin concertos that she wrote for him. And it's a wonderful, I mean, Tom's great, of course, but the music is fascinating. It's modern, it's progressive, but it's not squeaky gate music. It's got melodies and great rhythms and harmony. Very, very good. I think you guys will really enjoy that if you stream that. Now, the one other thing. Yes, this is interesting. Anytime someone in the notes or the comments or by my Instagram or Facebook, they say, Anthony, try and listen to this. I always do, if I have time. Usually I do. And this is music for Egon Schiele. That's how you pronounce it, Schiele, the famous artist. Excuse me. And this is a group called Rachel's. It's just Rachel's. And it's the early 90s. And unfortunately, two of her group died. I think one was cancer, one was an accident or something. But one of the, and I hope he comes up, one of the gentlemen that posts regularly said, Anthony, try and listen to this. It's very lovely. It's minimalist, but it's harmonically lovely, melodically interesting. It's very melismatic, typical. It's like Michael Nyman, if you know his music. If you don't, download Gattaca, the theme, the film music of Gattaca is one of my favorite scores. It's amazing. But that's very good. So if you want to have a nice late night listen and don't bother the neighbors, but have a lovely sound, that's a good one. Okay. So that's music for Egon Schiele by Rachel's. And that's the group Rachel's. Rachel's the lady. And I think, unfortunately, two of the gentlemen have since passed, which is very sad. And just a little bit of equipment. A lady, a new PR lady. She's lovely, but she's been bugging me. Anthony, can you talk about this? Okay. So this is the Sonus Faber Concertino G4. They're brand new speaker. Look how beautifully they're made. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? 5,000 US a pair. Stands are proprietary, of course, an extra $1,500. But I've heard Sonus Faber, and I love those speakers. So that would be very nice. And $5,000. Excuse me, $5,000 these days is not a lot of money. I know it is, but not a lot of money. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for now. Okay. Oh no, I've got to do the Red Spring. Anyway, let me just remove it for now. So yeah, and we got some other questions. SSPE, I know you've been here before. Hello, how are you? What Telarc do you like best? Well, I wrote an article about 6 months ago called "Whatever Happened to Telarc." There's a lot of Telarcs I love. My favorite, Chan, could you get that one right there? That CD. Thank you, sweetheart. That's my wife. She's on camera. Thank you, darling. This is. I'll just go. Let's go back for a second. This is my all-time favorite Telarc CD. This is Vaughan Williams' Second Symphony, the London Symphony, with the Lark Ascending.
It's unbelievable.
It's Andre Previn and the Royal Philharmonic. Telarc. They played the living hell out of it, and I love Previn's interpretations. The Lanto, the part when it swells with the horns, it's spectacular. So yes, that is a great Second Symphony. I think it's the best one, and I even prefer it to my vinyl one. That shows you how good this recording is. So yeah, Telarc. Do you have it, Jack?
Yes. In fact, I've got about 3 copies because I'm afraid that when people I know come over and hear it, you can still find it. It's still around, but
oh yeah, it didn't cost me much.
Used that by, it's amazing.
I'm glad you like it. It's Jim. Do you know that recording? That the Vaughan
Yeah,
Williams
I do. Yeah, I do. It is wonderful.
Jack, Jack Renner. I think I might have mentioned this, but Jack Renner was a client of mine in the photo workshops. He was quite a good photographer. Kind of a strange guy at times. Had a little bit of an ego. We had to make the door opening a little bit bigger to get his head in a little bit once in a while. But he knew what he was doing, and he did. In fact, when we do show and tell later, I have a sealed Telarc recording, or that I thought was a Telarc. Turned out it was a Mobile Fidelity. But at any rate, we'll talk about that later. Now, this stuff is great.
Well, back to the gentleman's question, SSPA's question. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. A couple of Telarcs that I think find it indispensable. Number one, the Fourier Requiem I was telling you about with the Duraflay Atlanta Symphony. It's stunningly beautiful. In fact, in Paradisum, there's a violin solo and William Preusel, that's the gentleman's name, Cleveland Quartet, Cleveland Orchestra, an incredible violinist. He does this violin solo, and he does things that I've never heard anybody else do. Just portamento and stuff. It's just gorgeous. And the choir, the Atlanta Symphony Chorus, is amazing. Yes. So, Scott, I put a link up to jump on whenever you're ready. That one. I will also highly recommend the Atlanta Symphony doing Hindemith, Symphonic Metamorphosis on themes of Weber, and what else are they doing? There he is. Hello, Scott. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah. Scott, you take. I'm fine for next week, Anthony. Great, Scott. This morning, I'm not fine. No problem. Okay. So I asked Jim, can you sub for Scott? Of course, Jim's amazing. Jim, yeah, great.
Thank you, Jim.
No. Don't thank him yet, bugger. 5 minutes before, Jan comes out and goes, 5 minutes. He's not around. He's somewhere doing some things he had to do. So I called Carl, of course. Carl's amazing. Carl bails out. So Scott, Jim's covering for you. Carl's covering for Jim. And Jack, of course, came up and saved the day. So no. Anyway.
We need a scorecard here.
So Scott, how are you doing? What's happening? Tell us what's going on.
Well, I've been here for about a week in Maine. I'm in Wells, Maine.
Let me get you big so we can see you for a sec. Hang on.
No, I look a little
Yeah.
scrappy.
No, you look great, bud. Go ahead.
I'm visiting family, taking care of my mom. I just saw her today. She's great. And I haven't had time to really explore around the area to see if there's any records hiding anywhere, but I'm going to do that before next week. So I should have a little stack next week.
Yes, because, while you were away last week.
Yeah.
I
was in flight last week.
Yeah. And did you watch the show last week? Because that Jim bought some heavy hitters, man. I'm telling you. He really did. He really did.
Thanks.
Amazing. Well, it's fantastic seeing you, Scott. We've missed you.
You too.
So let me just go. So SSPE, those three Telarcs, I would go, and I will tell you one that I'm actually going to purchase is the Royal Philharmonic again with Previn doing Walton 1. Now, Walton's First Symphony is a magnificent symphony, one of England's greatest symphonies, one of the 3 or 4 great ones. And Previn did it with the LSO in '67, but it's on is it '67, maybe later. But anyways, Dynagroove is bloody awful. I hate it. It's cold. It's like ice. The playing is incredible, and you can hear there's a great sounding record. It was done at Kingsway Hall, but it's just awful. Just like the Miraculous Mandarin LSO Apato, it was done at Kingsway Hall. It doesn't matter if it's digital or Dynagroove. It doesn't matter. Some digital, I should say. So I thought I'll give the Royal Philharmonic one a listen, because people say, well, the LSO is the best one, and it is. But the Royal Philharmonic is very, very good. They play beautifully. Previn's a great conductor, but the recording is Telarc. So that's another one I'm going to get. So that's 4. Jack, do you have any Telarcs that you would recommend?
I have a question. Maybe someone, so you've seen this around.
Yes.
Okay. So I never saw this. It has a sticker on here, and it says Telarc 180 gram, first pressing since 1978, pressed at Optimal Media. Now, I never knew that existed, but I saw it in the store and bought it. Scott, any or Maestro, any input on this?
Well, I have the original. I was aware of a small reissue campaign. I think there was like 5 titles on vinyl. But I haven't heard any reports about how they sound.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to beat the originals, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to beat. The other thing that's really good that they did, of course, this isn't really an orchestral. It's a wind. You all know that. That's an excellent one.
That's amazing. And they can play it because
not the greatest. This isn't my favorite rendition of this particular piece of music, but sonically it's pretty amazing.
They're all fun to have. Just
yeah,
the whole run of the first, maybe 2 dozen.
Yeah,
I love them.
Some of these, you look at them and you wonder if your stylus is going to survive some of these grooves.
Well, that's the thing about those. They're mastered so well by Stan Ricker, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can look at those grooves and you just know that the record's going to sound amazing.
Yeah. No, they're an interesting. Well,
there's some amazing stuff. There really is.
Yeah.
Let me just go back to some comments here because we've got.
Man, that Trevin, that Anthony, that CD is it. I think it's the best sounding CD I own.
It is. I put it on all the time.
Either jazz or classical or anything. It's just unbelievable.
The esoteric CDs are damn good as well. And I'm in the process of doing the Metronome Technology Aquo 2 CD SACD. Whoops.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's Scott's.
I don't have my regular studio.
that was like Jim. He was in the Kazi, which is a great English word for the bathroom. Then he says, "I'm in the Kazi." I'm like, "What the fuck?" He's in the Kazi. Then he comes out and he goes, I put him on. He goes, "I can't find my damn stand. Clara's moved it." That's right. When in doubt, blame the wife.
Can I ask a question of Anthony? Is there Carmina Burana? I mean, I know you don't maybe like the piece that much. I think you said once. What do you think about that performance?
Many people think it's lovely. The Previn is the best. I think one of the best on EMI. It's a great recording. It's well played.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I can't reach it, but I sprung for that big Previn CD box, that 80 CD box. I found one sealed for about $100, and I bought it. It's something I had to have.
It's what? Sorry.
It's just something I had to have. That big Previn.
Yeah.
Big box.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's
hey,
great,
Angie, how are you?
Hi, Angie.
Good to see you.
Angie.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. So now we're full, which is great. Great. So
I got some surprises for you.
Good. We've got lots of time tonight. It's no guest tonight. Well, we have a guest tonight.
All right.
His name's Scott. Scott. So let me just go through.
You look like you slept under a bridge last night.
I haven't shaved. I haven't done anything yet.
So Darryl.
Poor lighting.
Jim, can you read that?
The Kleiber Tristan was cobbled together from different takes, with which Kleiber was not happy. DG went ahead and released it without his approval, and he was furious. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, I've heard that story before.
I didn't know that. And Joey says, Anthony, what is the name of your favorite movie score? Thank you in advance. That's another one, Joey, like classical. I will tell you, I've got a few, if you want to search them out. The Michael Nyman score to Gattaca is spectacular. It's so beautiful. But if you know the movie, it's even more impressive. And a lot of friends in that band, friends of Jim and myself, Gabby Lester on violin. I mean, it's great, but it's a great score. It's very moving. I like, as I said in that video today, I'm a harmony guy. I love melodies, but if they're harmonized beautifully and it's profound, and I love the movie, Cinema Paradiso by Ennio Morricone. Incredible. I played some Morricone. I played The Mission,
Yeah.
the oboe. But I played it with Jim Mason, who had a trial at Boston, and I remember playing with him, and I remember going, his intonation was so perfect. I thought, if I screw this up, and I was playing in thirds, so I don't want to screw it up, but it was wonderful. I mean, so that's a great score. My favorite Korngold score, I think Korngold's one of the greatest, is not his most famous score. It's Between Two Worlds with John Garfield. It's a very interesting film about suicide on a boat going to heaven. So it's interesting. But the score is fantastic, and there's some very good recordings of it. Hello, Stella. And I'm just trying to think of, and another one, which is one of my favorite films, William Wyler, The Best Years of Our Lives, by Hugo Friedhofer, who writes one of the greatest tunes you'll ever hear at the beginning of that. And people go, because he did all the orchestrations for Korngold and for Max Steiner. But boy, it's a humdinger of an American-centric, heroic tune, and it's just magnificent. So, yeah, and it's all on YouTube, so you can use them YouTube. So Gattaca.
The other night I was listening to Slatkin do Copland's film music. And it's just, Slatkin does not stop clocks, and
he's an excellent conductor. I have a lot of respect for him after the debacle with the Detroit Symphony and that big strike, and then he came back and he kind of rebuilt the orchestra. Does anybody else have any favorite film scores? What are your favorite film scores, guys?
Well, I love the Errol Flynn ones, I have to say, and I love those National Film recordings. Yeah,
Sword movies.
I think they're fabulous. Yeah,
they're all Korngold, though, right? Yeah.
And things like King's Rhapsody as well, which is a great film.
You mean King's Row?
King's Row, I mean, yeah.
King's Row, and I used to put that on when I was doing some teaching. I'd put it on, you hear the harps, and the students say, "Oh, Star Wars." No.
Yeah.
Someone who John Williams damn well knows was the father of music. Korngold's. That's another one of my favorite scores. There's a recording.
How about Malcolm Arnold? Jim, he's respected as a film writer? Am I correct? I mean, he's
Malcolm Arnold. Oh yeah, for Bridge on the River Kwai and
a lot of them.
Yeah.
End of the Sixth Happiness. My father was talking to. That just came out, and my dad kind of had a luncheon with Malcolm Arnold discussing some jazz music, and that just come out. Oh yeah,
he was quite a trumpet player at one time.
Principal trumpet of the London Philharmonic when he was like 21 years old. Yeah. Hello. And so that was Darryl. That was a great comment, by the way. Thank you. We've got lots of time, guys. We're going to get to everybody. We've got streaming with Carl, and right now we have less time because Scott interrupted us because Scott was not supposed to be here tonight. So
I want to tell you my favorite film score.
We love you, Scott. Scott, what's your favorite film score?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but there's a couple that came to mind. Vertigo. I like Bernard Herrmann.
Yeah.
And
Benny Herrmann, another one.
A modern one, well, fairly modern, is Peter Gabriel's Passion.
Oh.
The Last Temptation of Christ, I think it.
Not.
That's got Billy Cobham on it, I think, playing percussion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's electronics and world rhythms. It's very, very good. And vocals too.
UP says, Joey, he really likes Dances with Wolves. Now, I forget who wrote that. Was it?
Was it not Mark? No, it wasn't Morricone, was it?
No, it was.
Not,
I don't know. It's just what happens when you hit 100 and 110 years old. You forget all
that.
Wicked Exile. Hello all. Wicked Exile was the gentleman that
John Barry.
John, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Well done. Anyway, Wicked Exile, thank you for that suggestion on the music of Egon Schiele and that group Rachel's, and it was lovely, very nice, very Michael Nyman like, very nice, lovely. Okay. Alan says Scott is posing for the cover of Aqualung tonight.
Wait,
I
I have to
think-
go. I have to go
No,
fresh.
no, Scott. I think you look great. They're just teasing you. And and Max says he got into Carmina Burana when taking Latin as a kid. You know, they were talking about that story. Jim, you know that story. Not John Shirley Quirk. It was Tom Allen. And he's singing that, you know, that baritone part in the solfege, that in the high register. And he goes at the proms in front of the BBC, everything, television, radio. And he goes, you see him just passing out. Wham!
Yeah.
That's that. And a kid in the audience was studying that. I think it was the Royal College of Guilds or something.
Patrick's on. I worked with him. I worked
And
with him.
he came up and sang the damn show.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? I mean, and the guy said it wasn't the greatest, but my kid, he's getting up and singing the show. Amazing. So anyway, Wicked Exile. Thank you for that reference. That and Daryl echoed the great Jack's name. It was John Barry.
I'll show you another John Barry, and I have to tell you, audio fidelity wise, if anybody will just if you see this anywhere, you can buy it cheap. I think this is a Japanese pressing. You can get a good pressing of this, probably $10 or $15. This is an audiophile record. I mean, this is like
I've heard that before.
it's such a great sounding record. And it's John Barry. I think Francis Ford Coppola produced this movie, and it's a 1920s 30s. It's a swing jazz oriented record with a few vocals, I think, but it's just sonically, it's a great sounding record. If you see this around, pick it up. It'll make even a halfway decent system sound good.
Yeah.
James says, hi, James, how are you? Lawrence Arabia, Jerry. Okay. Sand Pebbles, Goldsmith. I just watched the film the other day, which I love. My wife is in love madly with Steve McQueen. It's her hall pass, as they say. Like she loves the guy more than anything. Yes, she would trade me. Yes, she would.
The Shadow of Your Smile. Is that the
No, the Sand Pebbles is Chinese. It's China Americans after the First World War battles and stuff. But Steve McQueen's in it, and it's a wonderful film. And Jerry Goldsmith wrote the score. And I was listening to it, and it was so beautifully played. I thought, I'm going to see if I can find out who was on it. And on IMDb, they'd had all the musicians listed, including all those great trumpet players like Ewan Razy and stuff. But they also had the horns, Jim DeRosa, all those fantastic LA horn guys on, it's all the same people who go and play these shows. They're amazing. Anyway, I've got two things to talk about before we move on to Carl. He's going to get some streaming in. So we had some player moves this week. One that I think will be of interest to Jim, and one I think will be interest to everybody, but I think Jack will find it interesting. So, and Angie, we will get your records, my love. I promise you, we will get your records. I know, my love.
That movie, Anthony, was The Sandpiper.
The Sandpiper, yes.
Yeah.
And Jack Sheldon played the trumpet solo.
Shadow of your smiles.
Yeah. And I got
Piles is an English word for
Jack
hemorrhoid.
studied, I think, until he was 80 with Johann Racy. And
Johann Racy's famous one? Chinatown.
Johann played Chinatown. I mean, he
Yeah.
was
Amazing. Anyway, so the first one, Jim, is the principal cello of the Royal Philharmonic resigned this week. Did you know?
Who? John?
No, he's co-principal. The principal cello,
Right. Okay.
which tells me maybe John will be doing a little more busy being principal, and maybe they'll just give him the job. Wouldn't that be lovely? Or maybe he doesn't want the job.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't want the job.
Well, he was also in Queensland recently doing the principal cello job for a month. I mean,
Well, I'm telling you.
Look.
Scott again. Scott, you clumsy oaf. Again, your Scott is doing some silly fucking. See what happens, Scott, when things don't get rehearsed? This is what happens.
Yeah.
I will tell you, this is why I'm crazy about on time. I was doing a gig, conducting paid gig, but they were semi-pro band. It was in a theater in Mississauga in Toronto. And the two oldest guys in the band the trombone player and the trumpet player, and they were real pains in the ass. And I had to do a lot of stroking. Yeah, you sound great. And yeah. So they were doing this. We were doing this chart, and it was kind of a comic chart. And they said, Anthony, we know you don't like to do things at the last minute, but can we come up and do a little funny skit by you as we're playing? This is not the Titanic one, Jim. This is another one, right? There's another two idiots. So I said, guys, I really appreciate it, but you know me, I don't like doing things at the last second. Please, I'd rather not. Next rehearsal, Anthony, we promise it'll be funny, it'll be fine, it'll be great. And I'm looking at them, and they got their like the puppy, like Stella's the puppy dog eyes looking at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, guys, just look out yourself. So we start the piece. The two idiots come walking forward. The trombone player, I swear to God, flips over a stand. He wipes out the trombone. He gets up like this, bloody nose. The trombone's like this. The trombone is freaking bent in half. And I got to continue this piece. Like I swear to God, that's why I never wing things ever. Anyway, this one's for Jack. Esteban Batayan. Do you know? Have you heard of this gentleman?
I have.
He's the principal trumpeter of the Chicago Symphony. He's been there for 5 years, and it took a long time. They had Craig Morris, and he didn't last. Off he went to Florida to teach Florida State University. Then they had Chris, trumpet player in New York Phil. He left to go to the New York Phil. Why? I don't know, but who knows? Money, prestige, Juilliard, I don't know. So it took a long time to fill your teacher's boots, the great Bud Herseth. So finally, they get this guy from Spain, Esteban Batayan. Muti likes him, so they hire him, and he has Mahler 5 clips online, YouTube. He's brilliant. I played it for Jan. Jan was like, "Oh my God, he's really good." Right. So 5 years later, Gonzo, he went to Philly. Now that's an interesting. I mean, that's the lateral arabesque, because the Peter principle, right? Like it's going from Philly, Chicago to Philly. But it's interesting because that's happened before, and maybe Philly pay more money. I don't know, but you don't usually leave the Chicago Symphony, right? It's like once you're in the Berlin Phil, Chicago Symphony, you can say goodbye. You're usually there, right? So anyway, Jack, have you heard anything about that?
No, I mean, I know who he was. I know who he is. I love his playing. I mean, he was a very strong, really great player.
Really good. Really good.
Great
Interesting. I'm terrible at most things, but one thing I can do pretty well is pick out talent.
Yeah.
So one day I was watching, I watch all the conservatories concerts, Royal Academy, Trinity, all of them. And the New England have a very good orchestra at Jordan Hall. Hugh Wolf, not my favorite conductor, but he's doing a good job with the orchestra. They were doing Mahler 5. Let's see how the kids doing, how the kids are playing Mahler 5. Well, of course, they played it beautifully. I mean, on professional level. But ba-ga-da-bum, the trumpet, I'm thinking, who the hell is this kid? It was flawless. And it was a cut above everything. I thought to myself, this kid, and so I saw who it was. I didn't know his name. I read the comments. It turns out it was a kid named Elmer Chirumpi from Peru. Kind of a cherubic face. Elmer Chirumpi. And Elmer is now, and of course, I've been following him. Now he's utility in Cincy. So he's got a good job. But he just got, I heard through the grapevine, he just got into the finals of the Philly for principal at his age, which shows you how good he is. And he didn't make the super list. There's 2 that made the super list. I think Dallas and Houston guys. But he's getting there. And the next gig, maybe he'll get Chicago. Who knows? Anyway, but from that one performance, you could tell this kid was brilliant. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So many good players. One of the greatest trumpet player of all time, maybe. There's 2 of them that most people don't even know. And Louis Davidson, Indiana, loved this guy, and he's Russian. His name was Timothy Dockschitzer.
Timothy Dockschitzer, yeah, incredible.
Great player.
Check out his recording of the Aratunian.
Mendez, of course,
I beg your pardon, sorry?
Rafael Mendez really wasn't a symphonic player. Was a studio. He was another LA guy eventually.
Amazing.
But
friends of mine, trumpet players, just love Rafael
he was
Mendez.
Pancho Villa's bugler. And he was so good that Pancho, this is a true story. Pancho Villa said, "You're too good. Go home." And he threw him out of the bugling thing, and he went home and became the great Rafael Mendez.
So let me go by way of segue to the great Carl Sigman, Dr. Carl Sigman of Columbia University, soon to win the Nobel Prize and the Fields Medal. I know that.
Right.
Looks
Now
like
the
he
pressure's
won
on.
the Nobel Prize in cleaning up his wiring. Everything looks so clean and neat, Carl.
That's because my wife and kids are coming home in 3 days.
So what are you
going
going to tell us, Carl? Some streaming?
Well, before I do that, remember when 2 weeks ago was it? We talked about Bartok a little bit, and I wasn't home, so I couldn't remember what I had that I wanted to show, which was from the LP situation, and I found it. It was this one.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
Scott's going to be hanging up in a minute.
It
There's a
was
streamer showing records.
Again.
I know I can't help it. 1980, and I said, this is what got me into Bartok long ago. I don't even remember how I got it. Someone might have given it to me. I just don't remember, but I've had it for a very long time.
Never seen it.
That's a great recording.
Yeah.
Sounds
I-
good.
He's wonderful.
I heard Michel Baroff do the Bartok second concerto with Meredith Davis in Liverpool about 1978. It was fantastic. And that was the first time because Meredith was our old college principal, the first time I'd seen Meredith conduct. And he said that Michel Baroff was probably the finest pianist around at that time. He was a great fan
so
of
gifted.
Baroff.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazingly gifted. Beautiful, Carl. That's great. That's you're up there now with the pantheon of Jim and Scott.
Yeah.
Well, there's one more that I also Bartok.
Oh,
Mm.
Oh,
Deja
yeah,
Wanky.
microcosmos.
We call him Deja Wanky. I mean, Wanky. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Great
probably
player.
from 1977. Again, I don't remember how I got these, but it's long ago. I don't know, but that's why I couldn't remember what they were when I was in Indonesia because I couldn't go look, and so I have them back here again. So we can go to digital. Just one other quick thing. I think Anthony and I were talking about my CD player, and it when I first turned it on, it wouldn't play. It was kind of unusual, and Anthony kind of thought, well, you just got to kind of play with it a little bit. It'll start working again. And I kind of thought he was crazy, but he was right. And about a couple of hours of just letting it do its thing, and then it just starts to play again. And I'm very happy. And it plays. I put some what's his name on there, but to start it off with, it's quite good. This is what made it work. Yeah, this made it work. For some reason, this one worked.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love
And
the
once I got
handle
that going,
variations.
Yeah, then it started to work, and it just seems to like the apartment now. So I guess I'm okay with it. It's funny because these things are very mechanical. They're not. There's just the spinning thing on top, and even the cover is just manual. There's no tray that electronically. It's extremely doesn't move, but it weighs 50 pounds. So to get it up there, it had been somewhere else. It was a chore. Anyways, enough of that. It's working, and so I have more things to play with and get distracted with. But okay, a little bit of streaming. So one thing I thought I would do. First of all, I think I mentioned this last time, but I'm beginning to piece together a new. I can get the. A new
Playlist.
for coming back to New York. Throwing a couple of things in there now to show. So I found two things. This was one, I think it was. I found this one. It was remastered just the other day, I believe.
Oh yeah, nice.
Can you see that? It's kind of
It's a
hard to
little
see.
bright. Can you turn the brightness down maybe on your iPad?
I can try that.
On your iPad, not on your not
Oh,
turn
on the
the-
iPad. That's a
on the
good point.
iPad, not the
Let's
Mac.
try that. See what I can do here. I got it upside down as well. I got to go to do that.
Have you met Jim?
we're both kind of
No, technology. It's crazy.
yeah. It's just that
Just while we're waiting,
yeah.
Paolo Acevedo. Hi, Paolo. I'm not sure if you've been with us before, but welcome. Butthurst is still my favorite. And
Is
Postal
that a
Playboy.
VPI in the background? Is that a VPI turntable in the background?
That is the VPI. That is
That's-
the VPI turntable.
Yes, the HW40. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
very,
Sorry, yeah.
it's a little better, right?
A little better. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
St.
there you
Louis.
go.
Yeah, better. Beautiful.
So there's that. It just got remastered. There's also this I don't know anything about. It just came out. It just came out like days ago. So you guys can tell me more about it. I don't know.
She's a very good conductor, Joanna Malwitz. She was with the Concert House Orchestra in Berlin. Very good. She's just gone on to a big orchestra. I forget the name, but she's wonderful. And that she's been on Instagram really flogging that album, and it's getting good reviews. But she's a wonderful conductor. She's the real deal.
And the sound quality captured me. It was very, very good recording, I thought. So I thought I'd nail that one down for everybody.
Interesting music too. Kurt Weill. Jim and I
Yeah,
played some
that was
Kurt Weill.
yeah, that was quite. That wasn't what first struck me, but then I tried to make sense of it. It is indeed interesting. I think some of the pieces were written when he was like 20 years old, things like that. Well, one thing I thought I'd just quickly mention is the fact that when when you're on a lot of these streaming services, if they have a classical running section, I'll look at Kobos as an example. You can choose the genre, and often there's just piles of new stuff like this. This is just that's sitting there up front right now, probably because I pushed on it before. But there's so many things that just came out. We're talking about 2nd of August. There's like 20 new things classical, and you can pick other genres and look at that. So what I find interesting is that when you do that, unlike I think with vinyl, you can quickly test things and see what sounds good first of all.
Fabulous. It's so good. It's
Very
like
convenient. And then of course
smorgasbord.
you might want to seek out a vinyl version of something later if you find something that you think is going to be any good. So I have a lot of fun with that. And I usually just get distracted and start, moving around because of Rune and learning things, and it's really kind of cool. So I've enjoyed that a lot too. There's just piles of new stuff on here. There's a couple of other things I wanted that I don't even know. Oh, here's another one.
Who's playing that? I can't see the.
Jan Willem de Friend. I don't even know if I know who it is. Stavanger Symphony Orchestra. Yeah, sometimes you find something and you can't find out anything about them at all because they haven't put it up yet. They haven't put the information up yet sometimes as well. But anyways, the point is that there's just so much, and you can always say more, and then you get a whole bunch more that you can start. And it goes through.
Did you find anything from your friend Simon Rattle?
Well, he had that huge re-release of all of his works recently that you talked about, I think, at one point, didn't you?
Now, would you like to tell our esteemed audience, which is growing, by the way, that Simon Rattle story? That was fun.
Yeah,
you should tell that.
Sure. James knows about it. I think you do. So, yeah, just when I first came back from Indonesia, I was strolling about, it's about 10 days ago, in front of Columbia University. On Thursdays, they have a farmer's market, and all these small producers come from upstate New York, farmers, and they serve and sell their stuff, very fresh fruits and vegetables and all sorts of nice things. So it's a well-known thing to hang out and buy things in. And as I was strolling through there, I noticed someone who looked like Sir Simon Rattle, the famous conductor. And I wanted to be a little more sure. So I kind of passed him by, looked a little bit closer, and I checked on my iPhone. I looked up Simon Rattle, New York City, and sure enough, he was supposed to be in New York City to conduct in about 2 days at the Lincoln Center. So I figured that's too much of a coincidence. It must be him because it looked like him. And he was walking with a hand behind his back, kind of professorial, and his, that hair he has, and he had a black strap case hanging as well. It just looked like Simon Rattle. So I went back and I very, very cautiously, I just said, Mr. Rattle, is that you? And he kind of stopped and he looked at me kind of funny. And then he walked on very slowly. he had been kind of looking at things carefully, like he was just kind of looking at stuff. So I went a little further and I said, Sir Simon Rattle, is that you? And he just kind of slyly looked at me, and he said, he nodded his head, and then he kept walking. So I figured, I think it's him, but he just doesn't want to be bothered. So I didn't go any further than that.
Did he call the cops?
No, but I have to admit, I was dressed just with a t-shirt and jeans and a backpack. Who knows?
You
But
should
he
have
was-
said,
Carl,
should
you
have
should have
said
told me you knew Jim.
yeah, that's
Say it
right.
again?
Shit. Do you know my
Tell
mate
me
Jim?
that I know Jim.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I didn't at the time. I didn't know what to do. But he was walking right at, if about 20 feet away, he would have been at the building for the music school of Columbia University. He could have been heading there. I don't know. I didn't want to bother him. He seemed to want to be alone, so I left him alone.
So Angelina, you have some
Yes,
things to
sir.
show us? Okay, some things to
Well,
show us.
you were talking about Telarc. So I brought what we used to demo with, which really tests a lot of audio systems. This one
Sprouts
here.
Fest. That's another fantastic one.
That's
Yeah.
a tester of your system.
There's so many good
Correct.
ones.
And about piano, since you were talking about piano,
Oh, Kissin. Great, amazing piano player.
yeah. And I think it was week before last, we were talking about DVD players. And this is a good way to use a DVD player is by stuff like this.
Oh, wow.
So you can see and hear great music. Here's another one.
Oh, wow. So you got the best DVDs as well, Angie.
And here's one more.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Wow.
So just so you can see, you can use any medium to deliver music in a great way. But to watch it and hear it and see it is really special. I don't remember if I showed you these esoteric records. Did I show you these?
Oh, Angie, that was supposed to be in the mail, wasn't it? Excuse me. Actually, no, Angie, I did the review and we talked about them, but we
You
didn't
got
do
the
real-
CD, right?
Oh God, I
Did you get
reviewed
the
it
CD?
already. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was incredible. But that
Well, that's the record.
yeah, I got
And the
that
record.
and reviewed it. Yeah, it's amazing, absolutely fantastic. Now I've already talked about the two that are coming: the Fourier Requiem and Martha
Yeah,
Argerich.
that's a couple of months.
Yeah,
Couple of months from now.
that
And
gives you time to
here's
get my correct address.
surprises. Arnold has it on file.
Good.
So
He's gonna need it.
these are really old.
Just we
So when
can't
you
see
open it up,
Oh yeah,
Mm.
there we go. Yeah.
so it's got that cloth silky finish.
What label is that?
Hold on,
Vanguard, isn't
I'll
it?
tell you in a second.
This thing is
Vanguard, yeah. Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
original Vanguards.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
it's really, there's your label.
Is it
So
Vanguard
I
from
have
another
two
country?
more. These were gifted to me by one of my customers who passed away about 20 years ago. And there's another one here.
Huh.
You can
God, they're
feel.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. I
Angie,
had to
you have a
share them with you.
collection that is amazing.
Look at this. Look at this.
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Alrighty. Oh, that's a
Beautiful.
good recording too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So you can see. Anyway, it's a few pages of that.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. How lucky am I?
Very.
Mm.
Very. You got a great
Hold on a
collection,
second.
Angie.
I have never seen those.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And you got to see every page because every page is beautiful.
Amazing.
Look at this one.
And of course, it's such a fine performance as well. He did two. He also did a later one with the Concerto Balderati. They're both amazing.
I told you I had some nice surprises.
Oh,
And there's the record label.
huh.
And one more. So that was that one. Sleeping Beauty.
Oh God.
Mm.
Jeez.
Is that gorgeous?
Scott, do you have those?
No. I'm a little confused though. Are they like the second one, is it a Mercury production or is it reissued by Vanguard or?
I'll go back to it in a second. Let me finish this and then we'll move on back to that one.
These must have been very limited.
Yeah, I've never seen them before, so
No.
And they were gifted to you
here,
by
look, look at this.
a customer. Gorgeous.
That's
Yeah,
the
they
kind
were gifted to me about
kind of
20
thing that
years
makes
ago,
so
and I
appealing.
just dug it out.
Yeah.
His name was Jim Wilkins. We put a system together. I mean, this is something you share with people.
Gorgeous.
And
And
then
that's
there's the label.
Mercury also. Huh. Wow.
And they are 33 and a third. They're not 78s. So this one has 3 records. And we'll go back to the other one you asked about. That was the Swan Lake. And what was your question? It's Mercury.
They're all Mercuries. Okay, I thought someone said
Yep.
Vanguard earlier,
Yeah. The first one was a Vanguard.
but the same type of packaging.
Yep. But
Huh.
this one is a Mercury.
Yeah, I have that performance, but not in that
Yeah.
package.
And this is the Vanguard, which I love the label Vanguard.
Yeah, the label's
Great
really
stuff. That's
Oh,
the
that's beautiful.
Vanguard.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
cool. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Angie, incredible, amazing as usual. I mean, just just a teaser. Scott enough is like, okay, Jim.
So you got,
Okay, that's okay, my love. We got time. We're just gonna do Jim. And
I'm
then we're gonna
good.
do-
I'm good. We're
no,
good.
we don't go. Stay there.
Thank you,
You got-
Angie.
All right.
I love
Angie,
those.
yeah,
All right.
you
You're
gotta-
welcome.
You've got to get my address for the you know what? Anyway. Okay. Jim? Oh, where the hell did Jim go? There we go. Oh, there he is.
I'm just going to... Right. Well, I've got got a couple of things,
Yes, Tech Writer, it is. Mono.
but I've got something which I think you and Jack will be very, very interested in.
Okay.
And I've got all 3 albums of them. And it's Jacques Lussier plays Bach with Christian Garros and Pierre Michelot. And it's an original London Globe mono
Mm.
from about I think it must be 1962. It says Decca Record Company. The interesting thing is, I played this last night. There is not a sound on it. It's completely silent when you play it.
99 pence.
99p.
Wow.
Now, I was going to suggest if any of you are interested in these, then I'm happy to put them in the post to you if you want. But
Can I just put everyone big just for a sec, bud? Just give me a second. What is that thing called VCL? What is it? VCLT or something? The Vinyl Community Love Train or something, where they send other people their albums. It's so sweet. What a lot of crap. I'm not sending anybody anything. Ask it. I'm going to ask Scott. Scott, can I? No. I do have one for you, Jack. It's coming up. I have to get your address. And I think you'll like it. So, Jim's disappeared again. Let's put him on.
No, I'm trying to find this other record because
Okay,
Yeah.
Jim.
Was the silent one have scratches on it?
was the what?
Did you hear any scratches on the silent one?
No, there wasn't a scratch on it.
It's perfect condition.
And
Carl, Joey asked you. Joey said the app you're using, is that Apple Music?
Is what Apple Music?
The app that you were using on your
No, that was Rune showing Qobuz and Tidal.
Got it. Okay, Jim, here we go.
all right,
back
the next one is Elgar in the South and Sea Pictures with Gladys Ripley and the London Symphony and George Weldon.
That's rare.
Yeah.
And
in the
again,
South.
it's in an excellent condition. And Gladys Ripley, of course, who was also, I've got her on the Dreamer Grontius, the very first recording with Malcolm Sargent, which they made in 1945. Sadly, she passed away in the late 1950s, but she was a fabulous contralto. I think she was better than Kathleen Ferrier, but you have to be careful who you say that to.
Yeah, Kathleen Ferrier is like a goddess, man. She's like
George Weldon, fabulous, and it's a great album. And this is another quirky thing for Scott. This is a Columbia Records, and it's The Faithful Shepherd by Handel and Haydn Symphony Number 93 with the Royal Philharmonic and Beecham.
Nice.
That's a 10-inch, though, isn't it?
Hey,
No.
Sorry, that's a 10-inch, isn't it?
no,
Oh, it's 12 inches. Got it.
Again, beautiful condition. No, another 99p. I actually went back to the shop and got that because I thought, yeah, that is worth getting.
Yeah, it is.
And finally, for our Rite of Spring friends, I think this is great. There's the Philharmonia recording with Markovich.
It is amazing.
This is just a stunning performance.
We may get to the Rite of Spring in a little bit. Is that it for you, Jim?
Yeah, that's it for me for tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to you, bud. Okay, Jack, you said you had some records to show?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had my Rite of Springs out. I guess I could, if you want to.
No, I don't want to do that right now because here's the problem is, because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I'm so cheap, I have the amateur version of this StreamYard, which only gives me six boxes. So now we've got Max in the background. So
Well, why don't I go through these and knock me out?
we'll do you first, Jack. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
Knock me out and bring somebody else up. So this was $1.99. This is the mono, Angel Mono. I think this originally came out in RCA. And
Can you just lift it up a little bit? Lift it up, constant tilt. No, lift it up. There we go. Constant tilt Silvestri. Fantastic. Do you know the Angel covers? I think Angie mentioned this. They are so beautiful.
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
This is from the late, I think about 1960 maybe, but it's mono. And what's interesting in the back, it says it can be played on stereo as well, and it sounds good. It's like one of Jim's. It's going to be played once or twice. $1.99.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then I found this for $20. This is the reissue. This is the Analog Productions reissue they did a number of years ago. Not too long.
Yeah.
But really, really good sounding record. It was reasonable. It was about $20.
That is a good deal.
And then this is the one I was going to tell you about. It's not my favorite version of this, but
I
it
like
is
the record.
it's a sealed mobile fidelity.
Yeah.
I have an unsealed one. The playing is okay. It's okay, but the sound is amazing.
The sound.
Do you know Reiner's version of that? He makes it actually sound musical.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah. But
It's
an
film music.
um,
Film music.
fidelity that I think I'll I'll get rid of my other one. I keep that one. And then,
Which Rite of Spring do you have? Just so if we get started on that, we
well,
at least
I have
yours.
a couple versions. I have two from well, the Boulez, of course.
That's a great one.
This is a great one. And then, you all know this. We'll leave that. Somebody will talk about that. But then I found that I had this. This is the original Columbia recording.
Oh,
In really good shape. And Stravinsky conducting his own stuff was good. I think some of the conductors do a better job, but this is surprisingly good. I don't know who's in the Columbia Symphony. It's just a mess of players. I think this is a bunch of LA players. Right?
Yeah, it's the LA Phil and session players.
Yeah, but it's a really, really good recording.
mm.
And of course, on compact disc, you all know this. I think is maybe one of the best versions of this.
Yeah, I like that one myself.
The Bernstein, and then the Antal. I never made a bad record. Durati. He did two versions of this. One is on Mercury,
Yeah,
and one is on Decca.
Yeah.
Some people like one or the other, but he never made a bad record. Surprisingly, a really interesting version is the Ozawa version.
Oh, that's very famous. Chicago.
It's really, really good, and I think it needs to get more play. We tend to go down to Bernstein and some of the other ones all the time, and the Abato, but this is surprisingly good. This version here. So, Anthony, why don't you take me off and put somebody else on? And
I will right now, Jack. Jack, you the absolute best. Thanks, mate.
thank
Talk
you,
to
Jack.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Cheers,
Thanks,
Jack.
Jack.
Well, Max has been trying to get on for the last 10 minutes. I don't know where he is now. He's gone again. So there's technical difficulties. So anyway, no, he's still, he was there, not there, not. Anyway, let's go to where are we? Exit solo layout. There we go. Let me go through some of the questions until
Max comes back.
till Max gets up here. Max, come on up. Let me just give Max the invite. Maybe he's not. Max, try this. Okay, let's give that.
I'm going to put up a Four Seasons. I'm 2 episodes behind.
Which, oh,
Who's
that's
that Perlman.
that's a beautiful one. Jack's in the peanut gallery already. Okay, Max, let's get him on after the stage. Max, what's going on? Well, he's on and off. Maybe it's his Wi-Fi. Anyway, so let's get to the Rite of Spring. Okay, and let me just get my stream images up. So I'll just to get it going. I'll go first. Oh, Christ, I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's go to there. So these are mine for recording a performance. This is the world's worst recording. The George Gramophone, I think they were all on crack when they did it, but it's the best played I've ever heard. Early Michael Tilson Thomas, the Boston Symphony played the living hell out of it, but you'll hear the piccolo playing, then the flute trying to imitate it, and she's out in the bathroom somewhere. It's ridiculous, but I love the cover, and it's an incredible performance. It's worth it just for the. That is a great one on XR CD or vinyl on the original Decca. Chicago Symphony with Schulte. It's incredibly powerful, and it's really worth getting. This one has also incredible recording on for George Gramophone, Los Angeles Phil. Some of the bass in this will just knock your socks off. And okay, that's John. Yes. Okay, and then I've got Jack just mentioned this one, but I've got this one. That is I just listened to it again tonight. It's really spectacular. The original was nothing to write home about. You know, Claudio was famous for Stravinsky, and it was not really happening. The concerts were fantastic, but the recordings, Fairfield Hall, the Deutsche Grammophon, as usual, screwed it up. Günter Hermann's. The Emil Berliner Studios did a beautiful job on this. It's still available. The second pressing, highly recommended. The Elso's playing is incredible. The recording is beautiful. You can tell at the very beginning, you hear some pizzicato in the opening on the violin and the left-hand channel. And you go, oh my God,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like that old recording. So that's really worth getting. And poor old Max is really trying to get up here. You know, we've been bugging him in our team WhatsApp for a long time. And now we finally got room for him. He can't get up. Okay. Let's try adding. Okay, Max, you're there. Take your mute off and put your oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, screw you, Max. Okay. Scott, did you have any Rite of Springs that you just off the top of your head that you like?
Well, I have the one you just showed, the original source, and I have the Bernstein that Jack showed. I love that one, the 1960s one. And I got the Telarc one. I have Dorati's. I have a lot of them.
I heard the Mazel. Some of the
Yeah.
stuff is pretty kind of raucous and coarse.
Yeah. And I think I have one by Leibowitz too, on one of those Reader's Digest boxes.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
James says, shy with the Cleveland on the 80s decade, but digital. Yeah, but I've heard this very, very good. Well, poor old Max is having a hell of a time. He only lives in California, in Sonoma. It's not like he's not like he was like Carl was by the volcanoes in Indonesia, where it was. Okay. So here we go. So Max says, I'm on a mobile at kids baseball practice. Stop by the record store on the way there. Well, I don't know. It's, are you on what do they call it? Chrome? Maybe that's it. James said for Santa. Oh, sorry, that's he like that. Tech writer says, yes, in my opinion, I think they did a bad job on some classical. So Jim, do you want to just show us that record again, because it's very good? Then I'll tell you. We'll say a Markovich.
Which one's that?
Markovich.
All right, here we are. Yeah, this is the 70s Classics of Pleasure reissue.
Trying to remember what the original looked like.
Which was 99p, I think. You know, originally. I mean, this is actually my copy from the 70s. This is from my own collection. But
that didn't cost you 99p.
It didn't cost me 99p, but you know, some those nice little labels.
Yeah,
I love those labels.
Yeah, but it's such a wonderful recording.
Markovich did a lot of stuff with the LSO, Shostakovich. Tchaikovsky symphonies. But I'll tell you a story. There's a naughty word in it, so cover your ears, Angelina, because you're young and impressionable. Igor Markovich only spoke Russian and French, and he's a fantastic conductor. But he has high standards, and he was conductor of the Montreal Symphony, L'Orchestre de Symphonie de Montréal. This is, I think, back in the 50s or 60s. And they had a principal trombone player named Bob Bell. And Bob Bell was a bit of a, let's just say, character. And you know how a lot of brass players like to get at the conductor. So Bob Bell was they were doing something, and he was just screwing up. And Markovich is like yelling at him. So Bob Bell stands up and says, I won't say the F word, but he says the F word. F you, you prick. No, F you, you Russian prick. Right? At the top of his voice. Okay, just awful. And all Markovich did is looked at the concertmaster who could speak French. Qu'est-ce que c'est prick? Qu'est-ce que c'est prick? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Like that. So, I mean, just terrible. Okay, hang on. Is that? Let's try Max again. Max is Max, are you there? It's like Star Trek. You know, we're beaming him up. Can we just grab him?
Right. Where's Scotty when you need him?
Yeah, Max is in some baseball ground. You know, just leave those kids with your wife. I keep telling you, leave the kids with your wife and have some man time. Man up, Max. You remember wanting Ophelia, for God's sake. Come on. Oh, poor Max. Poor Max. He's got the most beautiful family and a very understanding wife and beautiful kids. Anyway, any other Rite of Springers? Carl, did you have any that you streamed?
Remember those box sets of CDs that you and I got really cheap for a while? 2 years ago, maybe? It must have been Bernstein, one of the Bernstein. You might have mentioned it, right? There was a whole collection of everything you ever did in the CD, and I think that was on there, was it not?
I'm sure it was.
Remember that, Anthony? We had box sets of.
Yeah, I can't remember, bud. Getting old.
We were getting them really cheap for like 40 different CDs, 50 CDs, a box set, beautiful, of everything at one go, and then the prices started to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Even on Amazon, we were getting them.
Well, Jack got the Previn box, which is very good.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
anyways,
people are very quick when they, it's like eBay and stuff. As soon as people see they're selling something for £15 or £20, it just starts going up incrementally by £5 nearly every day.
Yeah.
And people will pay it. So in the end, it's like £80 or something. I got a box set of Barbaroli CDs for £5 about 2 years ago. That same box is on sale with the same seller, second-hand retailer, and it's £55 now. So
Crazy.
yeah.
Max got he picked up the Ansame Borodin on London, which is supposed to be very good.
Yeah.
I prefer the Martin on RCA, which I think is one of the great performances. It's just absolutely beautiful. But the Borodin one on London is very good. It's also done on ORG. Scott, do you have the ORG one?
I do.
What'd you think?
Original and the ORG. I like the original on that one.
That's what he got. Max, how much did it cost? And Jack said the Previn box has about 90 CDs, all with original covers. That's fantastic.
Mm.
And Daryl says the Monterey right on RCA with the Paris Conservatory gets better. Jim? Didn't you have that one?
I have, but I can't find the record because.
Oh, you mean along with your stand and
along with the stand, they seem to have disappeared somewhere, probably in a cupboard somewhere. Yeah, I think it's quite a good. It's not your wham bam hello ma'am sort of performance like Rattle or Dudamel or whatever, but it's your typically Gallic French, slightly reedy, But I think it's great, and it's Monteur. I mean, you can't get it more than the horse's mouth with Monteur, can you?
I think I have that one on the Victrola, not the original.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And Tech Writer says, Octopus, I do have that Ansame Borodin, London wideband original. Good sound. It's great.
Yeah.
Angie, we have a few more minutes. Do you have a few more records to show us?
I would have to leave
No, then that's fine.
this
That's
to
that's
come
fine.
back. I didn't. Yeah.
That's fine. No problem.
I'll tell you, Anthony, I'll tell you what I did get, which is the same as this, but it's the Stravinsky one.
Hang on, let me get you. Go ahead.
It's Stravinsky. It's an SA CD. It was the first and only SA CD I ever bought because I couldn't find anything to play it on. In the end, I had to play it on my DVD player. But it's got both the Sacre de Printemps and the Firebird. And I mean, I've subsequently found things to play on. I think they're really good. Stravinsky's original 1910 orchestration of the Firebird, I think I showed you the LP a few weeks ago. I think that is a wonderful performance.
Wonderful version, you mean?
It's a wonderful version.
Yeah.
It's well recorded by Columbia as well. I mean, I think it was the first one they actually did when they started recording Stravinsky doing his own music. But it's a wonderful performance, and I wouldn't be without the Stravinsky version.
I'm doing for my episode 4, is it, of the the best of the best of the audiophile dream list. I'm doing Bill Evans' Waltz for Debbie, which I just absolutely love. The UHQR is available. It's $300 on Amazon. And I love our viewers, but I don't think I'm going to buy it. I've got a great version of it. I have the who's that amazing, the mastering lab,
Oh,
Doug
the
Sachs.
Doug
Yeah,
Sachs
I have it.
EP.
And then we had a shootout, Ian and I, with the JVC, not JVC, the new one with it's the fellow that does all the remasterings. What's his name? I forget.
Kevin Gray.
Yeah, Kevin Gray. And it's wonderful, but the Doug Sachs is better. But then I got yelled at by a famous vinyl file on Facebook. It is not better. Doug, personal friend of his, cut it too hot. It's crap. It's the greatest. It's just fantastic.
No, I thought it was better than the OJC.
I think so too. Anyway, well, I'm gonna mention that in my review coming up. I might go. I mean, I love the record so much. I'm sure the UHQR is the best. So I'll who's the fellow that does the jazz reviews for Stereophile? Ken McAuliffe. He just did a wonderful video on the two UHQRs. So that'll be interesting. We'll see. But the reason I brought this up is because my episode 5 is going to be is the Firebird, but I'm not going to tell you which one. But I have one. Scott will know which one it is. And this is Jack says, I had them both, Debbie and Vanguard. It is great. Yeah, I was talking more about the recent one, OGC. Okay, let me just go large for a second, just as we close out. Okay, so these are ones I picked out tonight. I've been doing a lot of Vaughan Williams listening, trying to get into his 8th and 9th symphonies, which were much later. The 8th is actually quite amazing, but the 9th is a little harder. You saw the CD, which is great. But if you're going to go vinyl, these are the ones I think to get. The first one, I'll go with the London Symphony. It's EMI with, of course, London Philharmonic. It's Adrian Bolt. That's an EMI. That's a postage stamp. Not expensive, but it's lovely. Is it better than the Previn Telarc? No, it's not, which is really surprising, I think. But it is wonderful, wonderful. Some lovely sounds. Then here's one of the most beautiful symphonies ever written, Symphony No. 5 and Serenade to Music. Symphony No. 5 is very pastoral, very beautiful, gorgeous. Same Bolt, London Philharmonic, Kingsway Hall, the two Christophers, producer and engineer. And we still got Serenade for Music. Jim, can you tell them about Serenade for Music?
Yeah, it was written for was it 12 or 16 solo singers. And
professional.
When it was first done, I mean, it was all the sort of Mary Jarrett and Frank Titterton and all the sort of, the big hitters of the 1920s. And then Bolt recorded it in the 60s, I think, with, Richard Angus and John Shirley Quirk and all a completely new cast of. But it's a beautiful piece. It's just
it's so stunning. It's also for just the orchestra as well, but the singing part.
Yeah.
But 16 of his favorite soloists. It's expensive to put on, but it's stunning, and that's a great performance of it. And then also, you don't listen to what Copeland said about listening to the Fifth Symphony. It's akin to 45 minutes of watching a cow eat grass, which is funny, but it's not true.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. If you don't get the Fifth Symphony, you don't get it. But I think it's stunning. This is a great piece. Completely different. Basically written at the end of the war. It's magnificent.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult to play. This is the Philharmonia with Bolt, and there's the man himself. And it's EMI. Purchase stamp. I don't think this was Kingsway, but it's magnificent. The Lacaseni, he being the concert master, he plays a beautiful version of that. And this is talking about film music. This is one of the best film scores for Scott of the Antarctic that became Symphonia Antarctica. Now there is a great CD of this that Mr. Pearson thought was one of the best, and he commented on it. Naxos, $7. Keys Barkels conducting the Bournemouth Symphony. The organ in it it's talking what Angie was saying about test records. It's incredible. But for vinyl, that's a great one, and it's a great piece. I mean, the beginning, just the austerity of the Antarctic landscape. If you've seen that photograph of Scott getting to, and he got their second. Amundsen from Norway got there first. There's a photograph of him. Then, of course, they all died trying to get back. And he said to Amundsen, "Why are you taking dogs? I'm taking snowmobiles." Amundsen said to him, "You can eat dogs," and that's what happened.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to see that, it's a John Mills, Scott of the Antarctic, incredible film. Anyway, let me get out of my. There we go.
Did you know? I mean, it's been announced by Warner's. They're actually going to release a whole box of all the Bolt recordings. They're going to redo them, remix them. I mean, everything, the monos, the stereos, his entire EMI output from the 1950s onwards. I don't know how much it'll be, but this is as a result of a lot of pressure from people who wanted, better quality Bolt recordings. And so anyway, they're going to do it.
Incredible, man. Wicked Exile said the engineer for those live 11s was Dave Jones. And he was a wizard on remote recordings. No kidding. He certainly was. And Daryl, Scott, can you read that?
Rachmaninoff wept at the U.S. premiere of Ralph Vaughan Williams' Serenade.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
Mm.
Okay, folks, we're just about done. I just want to say thank you to our early guest, Jack. And the downbeat starts at 5:00, gentlemen, just so we know for future reference.
Okay.
And, what are you talking about, you? Angelina, of course, never. Angie, you're my favorite. You never let me down.
I got something else to show you.
Okay.
You know this.
Have you met
but
Jim?
have you ever seen it like this?
Hang on. Go ahead. What's that?
Have you ever seen it like this?
No, what is that? The 45?
Look at this.
Is that the classic
It's the
record
CD.
CD?
No, never seen that.
Yeah. Look at that.
God.
And there's a second CD. But here's the cool thing about the CD. Looks like a record.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful stuff.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who put that out?
So
Classic.
I bought these about 15 years ago from an Asian vendor. So I'm not sure if they were even available in North America.
Yeah.
That's cool, isn't it?
It
The
is.
CD looks like a record.
Yeah.
And then you've got the whole booklet of information in there.
Gorgeous.
It's just cool.
Is that front cover embossed? Like deep set? Is the front cover embossed or?
No, it's not
No.
embossed. It
Okay.
does look like it, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
looks like
cool.
it.
Have we got time for a little story?
All
You
right.
sons of you sons of
Ask the boss.
Oh, the boss. That's Angie. You hold it. If anybody's known me in anything, my audio file stuff, Angie's the boss, and when Angie's not around, Jan's the boss. Sorry, of course, Jim. Of course, Jim. Here we go.
Well, in the days in the 1980s, before they rejigged Covent Garden, there used to be a ballet rehearsal room in 42 Floral Street. And the entrance was directly opposite the stage door of the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. I used to go and we rehearsed a couple of things in there. And Dennis Wicks, the great British bass, who'd sung with Callas and people in Tosca and things, we were doing something. And he said to me, you don't like this room, do you? And I said, no, and it's awful, it's dead. And he said, go and lean against that wall. So I went and leaned against the wall, and he said, now sing that thing. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay, I can hear myself. he said, when we were rehearsing Tosca, he said that was the only place in this room that Callus would actually sing, and she used to lean against the wall. And it was they hadn't even painted the wall, it was so old. And it was a ballet rehearsal room, and it was also the room that what's her name, Margot Fontaine and Nurofen rehearsed Romeo and Juliet. It's gone now, sadly, but it was a room about the size of, of a large bedroom, and that was all it was, with bars around the side and mirrors. But the people who performed and rehearsed in this room, I think they should have taken it down brick by brick and reassembled it in the Victoria and Albert Museum or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Piccolina, that's Ozzy. Hello, Anthony and panel. Hi, Ozzy. And Jack says, what's on for next week, Maestro? I'm not sure what building the library will be. I'm going to think about it this week, talk to the guys about it. Then they'll have some stuff. And then, of course, you guys can, from the Peanut Gallery, can make your suggestions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tonight. Again, a little bit of fun and games before we start. I freaking throttled you. Okay. Anyway, love you guys. I mean, you just get the best people. Thank you so much, Angie, for coming on again, and Jack, of course, and Jim. I'm glad you made it, buddy. glad everything came out okay. Carl, of course, amazing, and of course, my great friend Scott. Scott, did you notice I mentioned you in my video again this morning?
I did. Thank you so much.
Are you
and it was a
kidding?
great video.
I got to show you something. I got to show you something.
What is that? Oh,
that is my bags unlimited box.
Yeah.
No stories, but I will tell you that Scott sends me heads up on videos sometimes. All Scott's videos are so elegant and so beautiful. In my wildest dreams, I just dream about doing them like Scott. He did that beautiful one of the pop music from Living Stereo, which was incredible. Anyway,
thanks.
he says, I'm doing a video of a storage box. I said, what the are you doing? He goes, no, you'll see. So he sent it to me. And of course, it was brilliant. And of course, the storage box by Bags Unlimited are brilliant. So I ordered them. They came today. And I remember you putting them together. Jan had them done in like 5 seconds. She's we just got a new IKEA bedroom set. And she's had it. Do you want a hand? No. Anyway.
Was I right?
Yeah, I'd still be. Yes, you're right. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
When are you gonna put that?
Probably in a day or two. This Living Stereo popular video is just flying right now. So
Oh, it's great. It's a
let
great
it go.
video too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it go. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's great to see you, Scott.
All right.
We'll see everybody
Thank
next
you.
week. And
I'm glad I made it.
me too. We miss you. Okay, let me just say goodnight to everybody, and then just hang on for a second. Okay, guys, have a great night. We'll see you next week. All the very best to you. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.